Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, special guests, general officers, commanders, command sergeants major, community partners in excellence, friends and neighbors of Fort Knox. Welcome to this afternoon's promotion ceremony. The official party for today's ceremony is comprised of our host, General James E. Rainey, Commanding General, United States Army Futures Command, and our guest of honor, Colonel Promotable Amanda I. Azubuike. Accompanying Colonel Azubuike are several members of her family. Her Aunt Clara Shrakai, her Aunt Adije Azubuike, her sister Fiona Azubuike, her goddaughters Taylor and London Aguilard, and many additional family members and friends from around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the invocation offered today by U.S. Army Cadet Command's Command Chaplain, Chaplain Lieutenant Colonel Philip Jung, and remain standing for the national anthem sung today by Mrs. Taylor Trollia-Hiron.
Good morning. Please join me in prayer at this time. Almighty God, we thank you for this wonderful day that we are able to gather to recognize the work of Colonel Promotable Amanda Azubuike and likewise celebrate her well-deserved promotion to Brigadier General. Dear God, even as we celebrate this occasion, we know that all promotions and recognitions are from you. Thus, we thank you for the recognition of years of service Brigadier General Azubuike has fulfilled by serving in our nation's military and thus serving the people thereof and ultimately serving you. We now pray that with this promotion ceremony of formerly Colonel Azubuike to now Brigadier General Azubuike, that your grace, wisdom, and blessings will be evident upon her, that through your presence she will continue to serve our nation with great distinction, wisdom, courage, and love. We also pray that you will bless the entirety of her family, that through their support, Brigadier General Azubuike will continue to excel as your ordained leader among leaders. Knowing you are faithful, we thank you, and all this we pray in your holy and wonderful name. Amen.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commanding General of United States Army Futures Command, General James E. Rainey.
Well, thank you all very much for coming out here. I think everybody can, is this going to work? Mic me up? Okay. Man, this is awesome. What a great day. Big day for Amanda. First, thank you for including me in this ceremony. Some of us have been around a while. That as a leader, I don't think there's anything better than when somebody you serve with asks you to be part of a ceremony, a retirement, a promotion, graduation, and I'm honored to be here. patent museum. We got an armor guy museum. We got a helicopter. We got a public affairs officer. We got a couple good infantrymen in case things get serious. So everybody will be all right. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be okay. All right, let me talk about the rank of general officer. Let me back up. To your wonderful family, all of you, and I would introduce each of you, but I'd murder your names by accident. I apologize, but and there's too many, and that's a testimony to how much love. I was back in the back room and met Amanda's family. Some of them I met last promotion, but I could just feel pride and love in that room. And thank you all for being here. And Amanda, I know your mom and dad are here with us too. And I know how proud they must be of you also. All right, promotion to general officer. All promotions are a big deal. This is a really big deal. Really big deal. For some of you that aren't as familiar with our great Army, there's about 1.2, give or take, 1.2 million men and women in uniform any given day. And out that 1.2 million, there's about 300 active duty general officers. So we say it's a 1% promotion because guys like me and General Davis aren't good at math, but it's less than 1%. I'm not going to embarrass myself in public. But, you know, a great career as a commissioned officer is 20 years of making lieutenant colonel. And about 10% of those people that make lieutenant colonel have the opportunity to command as a lieutenant colonel. And about 1 out of 7 of them are afforded the opportunity to command again or do a command level responsibility, CSL, command select job, as a colonel. And of all those people, about 1%, 30 or 40 a year, are selected to be a general officer. So I know you're a humble person and you're not going to tell that part during your speech, I'm sure, but this is a really big deal. So thanks for everybody being here. You're witnessing history. Amanda, I'm going to talk about her in a minute. Amanda inspires me. I get energy off of people around me like we all do, but ever since I met her and started working for her, that wasn't a slip. So, I don't need a lot of help, those of you that know me, but I need a good PAO, and part of the reason I'm here is because of her. But she's inspirational. I get energy. I get energy off her. Those of you who know her, you just walk by her in the hall and you feel like you got a little boost of superpower. And I was thinking about this morning, and you know, of all the foundational documents of our country, my favorite by far is the Constitution of the United States. Favorite document. It's what I've chosen, like most of you, to spend my adult life making sure that stays where it's at. But my favorite word in all of the documents actually comes from the Declaration of Independence. And my favorite word in our history is the word pursuit. It says the pursuit of happiness. So this is the greatest country in the world, but you don't have a right to be happy, but you have a right to pursue it. And Amanda and her family, if you don't know them and you don't know their story, that's what they're all about. They're all about pursuing happiness. The verb, putting energy, going out and working for it, treating people the right way, earning everything you got, leaving it better for the next generation. And that motivates, man, I get fired up just being around her. So thank you for lighting my fire, making me a better officer. Amanda's phenomenal. Born in London, born in the UK, came to the United States, ended up in Arkansas, ended up in the Army, aviator, started out as an aviator, became a public affairs officer. I personally think the best one in the Army and the best one I've had the privilege of serving with. She served with the mighty 3rd Infantry Division, Rock of the Marne. We won't have to sing the song, but extra credit later. But she was my PAO in and out of combat. Best I've ever seen. Hard times, good times, telling stories about the great men and women, dealing with bad news. Rock solid, phenomenal. More importantly, because everybody's supposed to be good at their job, she makes everybody around her better. Me, everybody working for her, teammates. PAO is one of those jobs where it's either a crisis or you're bored. And when she was bored, she grabbed an oar on the team and helped everybody else. That's why she's a general, because generals are generalists, general purpose. She's a PAO. She came to see me like, hey, they told me I'm going to cadet command. I'm like, yeah, okay, you're a general. You're not a PAO anymore. Go be the best deputy commander of cadet command ever. I had no advice for you. I don't even know what they do, but go, go be awesome. Go be awesome at it. And I'm sure that you will be. And you got a bright future. Presidential inauguration in DC. So tactical public affairs officer in combat in a division in Afghanistan. Go to Washington, D.C., be in charge of the public affairs aspects of inaugurating one of our presidents. And then you might know a guy named Kirby. Everybody sees him on TV. Everybody thinks he's the best ever. I always point out to him that, she got him promoted. So they moved him on. Amanda was working for him. So top level job. So tactical to strategic, she can do it all. She's a phenomenal person. Generals are supposed to be exceptional, not great, not awesome, not really, really good, but you're supposed to be able to look at you younger folks. You should be able to look at a general and say, that person is good at everything, but they're exceptional at that. Exceptional. And for Amanda, to me, that is that it's a subset of that positive energy. But you are an inspirational optimist. Okay? Optimist. We're in the combat fighting business. Nobody's going to follow anybody if the guy who's leading says, I don't know if this is going to work out or not, let's give it a shot. When the ramps came down at Normandy or when the door goes up on an aircraft, nobody's going to follow somebody that's like, oh man, we're doomed. This is going to suck, right? But the other thing is nobody, and our great NCOs will tell you, nobody likes a cheerleader as a leader either. And you can't BS soldiers. So you got to find that perfect slot of positive, infectious, optimistic leadership without being a cheerleader, without looking at a hard problem and seeing anything other than a way to accomplish the mission. And you do that better than anybody I've ever seen. And the Army got this one right. I'm very proud of you. All right, but nobody came here to see me or listen to me talk. All right, you ready? Take a deep breath. All right, come on up here, please.
At this time, Colonel Azubuike and family will join General Rainey for the publication of her promotion orders to the rank of Brigadier General. As I read the promotion order, the rank insignia of Brigadier General will be pinned on her Army Green Service uniform jacket by her Aunt Clara and Sister Fiona. Her goddaughters, Taylor and London, will place the rank on her dress shirt. Please rise for the publishing of the orders. Attention to orders. The President of the United States has reposed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Amanda I. Azubuike. In view of these qualities and demonstrated potential for increased responsibilities, Amanda I. Azubuike is authorized and directed to wear the uniform and one-star insignia of Brigadier General, effective 28 October 2022. Signed, Lloyd J. Austin, Secretary of Defense. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The General Officer Belt and Buckle will be presented to Brigadier General Azubuike. Making this presentation is her cousin Charity Mayanda Young. The General Officer Pistol will now be presented to General Azubuike. Making this presentation is her cousin Cheta Azubuike. The origins of the General Officer Positional Flag dates back to 1887, when officers of the Corps of Engineers were authorized flags on their ships. Flags for general officers were first authorized in August of 1903, and the style of General Officer flag in use today was adopted in 1947. Bringing forward the General Officer flag is General Azubuike's driver, Staff Sergeant George Trolia Hiron. Staff Sergeant Trolia Hiron presents Brigadier General Azubuike with her flag. Her former company commander, Lieutenant Colonel retired John E. James, will assist with the uncasing. General Azubuike will then direct Staff Sergeant Trolia Hiron to post the flag.
Post the flag.
General Azubuike is executing a time-honored tradition of presenting a silver dollar to the first non-commissioned officer who salutes her as a brigadier general. General Azubuike is presenting Staff Sergeant Trolia Hiron a 1923 silver dollar. We now ask that General Rainey please come forward and administer the oath of office to General Azubuike. Audience, please remain seated. Ruffles and flourishes are sounded to render military honors and precede prescribed music for persons being honored. Traditionally, ruffles are played on drums and flourishes are played on bugles or by the whole band, and they are performed simultaneously. This custom of announcing high-ranking dignitaries has its origin in Europe. In 1776, officers in the Continental Army were to, quote, order a drum and fife to give one ruffle and flourish to a brigadier general, end quote. The prescribed march for general officers of the Army is the General's March. Please remain standing for the first rendering of personal honors to Brigadier General Azubuike. Please be seated. General Azubuike will now present yellow roses to her Aunt Clara, Aunt Adije, and Sister Fiona for their unwavering support and commitment. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the newest general officer in the United States Army, Brigadier General Amanda I. Azubuike.
Thank you all for being here to celebrate this day with me. It's not lost on me that it's Halloween, and most of you probably have plans that you could be working on right now. But it means a lot that you chose to be here with me. I have so many things to be grateful for, so many people to thank, and I want to start by thanking everyone who made this ceremony a classy event. First, thank you for the team here at the Patton Museum, specifically Mr. Reed and Ms. Owens, for allowing me to conduct my ceremony here, and for all the support you provided. It's the perfect venue. I'm pretty sure some of the Hueys I flew back in the day should have been in a museum back then instead of on the flight line. Thank you to the Executive Services team, Mick, the PAO team, the soldiers, NCOs, officers from HHD, Chaplain June, Mrs. Taylor, Trujillo, Huron for that amazing rendition of the national anthem. Can we please give them all another round of applause? I want to first thank General Rainey for officiating my ceremony. Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate it. Thank you for coming all the way here to do this for me. Thank you for being a great leader to me, but also for the Army. Obviously, I work for you at 3rd ID. Thank you so much for not firing me. When we were both stationed at the Pentagon, he always made time for me. Even though he was one of the busiest officers in the Pentagon, had one of the biggest jobs, the busiest jobs in the Army G357. Thank you for always taking the time. You may not remember, but you were so kind to my mom. I took my mom to the 3rd ID military ball, and as people say, you don't always remember what people say to you, but you remember how they made you feel. And I remember how you made my mom feel. You made her feel special. And I'll never forget that. So thank you, and thank you, Tracy, for coming as well. I also want to thank some other special guests here. Obviously, General Manera, current CG, and also my fellow Army War College classmate. Major General Knox Limbacher, thank you for coming, flight school classmate. Major General Davis, thank you for being here. Brigadier General Davis and Vernon, a fellow Arkansan. Brigadier General Cushing, another Army War College classmate, and Marla, his wife. Brigadier General retired Iacocca, thank you for always being so supportive. And to all the senior leaders, sergeants major, colleagues, and service members for being here. I really appreciate you all coming on to celebrate this day with me. So as General Rainey said, both my parents passed away within the last 6 years. This would have been a very proud day for them. But I want to acknowledge my family members who were able to come and travel and be here with me today. My sister Fiona, more like the hurricane, less like the princess. My auntie Clara, who traveled from London, but is actually from Zimbabwe, and her daughter Charity, my cousin, also traveled with her. My auntie Adije, who lives in Enugu, Nigeria, but is visiting her son Cheta, my cousin, and brought her granddaughter. And then my cousins, Munatsi and Miranda, who traveled as well. Thank you all for coming. I also have friends and colleagues who traveled here from out of town. Thank you all for coming and sharing in this day with me. I said this before, but you can learn a lot about someone by their journey. So today I'm going to share a little bit about my journey and how I got here, because I really never would have thought I would be here today. I believe my journey is a true testament to my family, my faith in God, and also this great country that we live in. I think it's what my mother dreamt of when she left and decided to immigrate to this country all those years ago. I think you can tell if you met any of my family members that we are very proud of our African heritage. And I think that it's that heritage, that foundation, that journey that has got me here today. It all starts with my last name, Azubuike, a very common name in Nigeria, much like Smith or Johnson. It is from the Igbo tribe. And translated, it means the past is your strength, your back is your strength, experience is the best teacher. And to be clear, my name is Nigerian because my dad is from Nigeria and was born and raised there, but my mom was born in Zimbabwe. I am of a mixed African heritage. So on occasion, I will joke and say, I am truly an African American. So my parents both left their respective countries at a young age to pursue their degrees in London. My mom, a nursing degree, my dad, a law degree. They met in London, married, and my sister and I were born there. They later divorced, and my mom decided to move to the US in search of better opportunities. My mom was extremely strong, independent, and a great role model for my sister and I. The best role model I've ever had. And education was emphasized from a very young age. I would describe my mom as an African version of a tiger mom. My mom truly believed that we could accomplish anything, do anything, and be anything if we worked hard. So I was not a US citizen when I graduated from high school. I still had a year to go before I was eligible for my citizenship, and I needed to find a way to pay for college. My introduction to the Army, or my introduction to the military, was Air Force Junior ROTC in high school. But there was a freeze on enlistments when I graduated from high school in the Air Force, so I enlisted in the Army National Guard for the GI Bill. However, since I had been in Air Force Junior ROTC, the Army was a little intimidating for me. I was barely 100 pounds, 17-year-old, and I was concerned about making it through basic training. Until one of my best friends from junior high school, Hafiza, who's here today, she was old enough to do the split option, so she went to basic training after her junior year. And she was weaker than me, so I figured if she could make it through, I could. And she did. So thank you for giving me the confidence I needed at the time. I attended 2 or 3 Army National Guard drills before being shipped off to basic training. And there was an NCO, Sergeant E5 Kenny Brown, who took the time to teach me how to do push-ups correctly, how to shine my then black boots, and all the basics you needed to get through basic training. He really impacted my initial years in the military. He showed me how to be a soldier. He motivated me at a very young age. He was my introduction to the NCO Corps. I have respected the NCO Corps ever since, the backbone of our great Army. Sergeant Brown is now a CW5 in the Arkansas Army National Guard, and I have appreciated his friendship and counsel over the years. I've been blessed to have many people teach, coach, and mentor me throughout my career. I went to the University of Central Arkansas, became a U.S. citizen in April 1989. I joined ROTC, graduated, went to flight school. Of note, shortly after I graduated from flight school, I was talking to my dad, and he said, okay, so when are you going to law school? Medical school, pharmacy school, and this is not uncommon coming from a Nigerian father. This is the family I grew up in, and the high expectations that came with it. It was expected that you took education seriously, that you worked hard, and took advantage of every opportunity. I owe this day to so many people, and want to say thank you. Thank you to those who invested in me, thank you to those who practiced patience with me, and thank you for those who held me accountable. I have been blessed to always be surrounded by talented people, and have met many great people along my journey. They have shaped who I am today and significantly impacted the trajectory of my life. I recognize the gravity of this moment. I recognize the responsibility, the expectations, as well as the scrutiny that comes with this promotion. I also recognize the power of representation and the importance of diverse teams. In fact, earlier this month, we celebrated the 25th anniversary of the Military Women's Memorial in DC that sits at the entrance of the Arlington National Cemetery. During the event marking the anniversary, Secretary Austin encouraged everyone to be inspired by the women whose stories the memorial honors and to write new chapters in American history. I am privileged to have benefited from trailblazers that paved the way for me, and I am committed to doing my part to leave a better path for those coming behind me, and maybe inspire some along the way. I have a picture hanging in my office that was signed by 12 Tuskegee Airmen I met about 25 years ago. It's one of my most treasured possessions. These are the trailblazers that inspired me. A few years ago, a woman I admire told me, "What got you here was your experience, your competence, and hard work. But in order to get to the next level, someone has to pull you up." So I appreciate everyone who has invested in me and pulled me up, and the Army leadership who has shown confidence in my potential. I am committed to paying it forward and helping to pull others up. I'm honored to be selected to serve at this level, and I feel fortunate to be serving in my current position at Cadet Command, because I really believe I can contribute here in a meaningful way. I expected to be retired by now. I look at this as extra innings, the bonus round. I'm still honored to serve. And I will leave you with this. When former Secretary Madeleine Albright passed away earlier this year, a former president tweeted a statement I identified with. And although we did not travel identical paths, the sentiment is the same. He relayed one of his favorite stories about her. Quote, "At a naturalization ceremony, an Ethiopian man came up to Secretary Albright and said, 'Only in America could a refugee from Africa meet the Secretary of State.' And Secretary Albright replied, 'Only in America could a refugee from Central Europe become Secretary of State.' I joined the US military before I was even a US citizen, but I always knew this country was great, that it was worth fighting for. and that it is truly the land of opportunity. I am very proud of my heritage, my ethnic roots, but I am equally as proud to be an American. And to serve in the world's best army. Again, thank you for coming. Leadership excellence, people first, winning matters. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the playing of the Army Song. Words to the Army Song are printed on the back page of your programs, and we invite you to sing along.